Wynand Jacobs from Family Life. Wynand, kia ora, thanks for your time.
Kia ora, Andrew. Great to be here.
So, Marriage Week, this will be a surprise to some people. When is it and what does it involve, briefly?
Yeah, right. So initially, this was a surprise to me as well, a
Oh,
pleasant surprise though, because Marriage Week hasn't been actively championed in New Zealand. I guess nationwide over the past few years, but go back maybe 10 years ago, it actually was, you
hmm
know. So yeah, Marriage Week is happening the 8th to the 14th of September, and it's
okay.
really an opportunity for us as a nation, and maybe particularly within the Christian context, to promote the value of marriage that it is to our society, and then also encourage couples to invest in strong marriages because of what it entails. We want to sort of champion the idea that we don't want to wait for the wheels to come off
Yeah.
in our marriage before we invest in it or seek help. But actually, we want this journey, this culture of investing in making a great marriage your reality.
So a great thing, early September, spring has sprung. There's new life. We're wanting to put new life into our marriages as well. So a good thing to do. And hey, investing in marriage, that's kind of your wheelhouse. I
Well,
almost think that maybe Family Life had invented Marriage Week, but you're not taking the credit for that, are you?
absolutely not. And this is a worldwide thing.
hmm
So the southern and the northern hemisphere sort of celebrates it in different
Oh,
times of the
yes.
year.
Yeah.
So February was been more traditionally known as Marriage Week.
hmm
But look, some people wisely thought actually if we put it in September, that's a better time of year for us here in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you say, spring has sprung.
yeah.
And so, yeah, we want to get involved with a movement that's already happening across the world and say, how as a nation can we, as New Zealand, participate in that? Marriage gets sometimes bad rap
Yeah.
from the media and culture today. How can we highlight and shine the light on the value and the gift of marriage to our nation, to
Now,
our society?
one thing that you guys are doing, and hey, all in on this one, a great way to celebrate Marriage Week is with the Marriage on a Mission conference. And you and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks and unpacking some of the content. But this is a big deal. You've got some international speakers. There's some big topics. A bit of a risk, particularly in current financial circumstances, to say, you know what, we're going to run a conference with international speakers. Obviously, this is something important to you guys.
Oh, hugely so. And maybe I took on too much for this, but this cause really matters a
Yeah.
lot. And so the first international couple that I'll mention is Ron and Nan Deal, and they're part of Family Life in the US
hmm
actually. Used to run still runs the blended ministry, and he's sort of the renowned expert in that space. But their most recent book, The Mindful Marriage, is just a phenomenal journey of their own pain and brokenness and how God actually redeemed that. And it's a great mix between science and the gospel,
Okay.
for, brain science
Mm.
and therapy and the gospel, and just a great marriage, if you will, of the two. And so Ron is actually going to be running the Mindful Marriage Conference in Dunedin.
hmm
And then we've partnered with Leadership Works to do a tour from Christchurch to Wellington to Hamilton.
Wow.
And at each of those locations, we'll have a morning workshop for pastors to help them strengthen marriage ministry and think of ideas. And then an evening session where Ron and Nan Deal will present a couple's evening, strengthening their marriages. And then, of course, in Auckland on the 11th of September, Ron and Nandil, along with the former Canadian Family Life directors, Neil and Cheryl Josephson.
hmm
Now, you've actually been to their training,
Yeah.
Andrew, as marriage mentors, because we run their marriage mentor training, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
They currently look after global, but they're going to present a full day investment training workshop for pastors on the Thursday. And then this all culminates because we just believe like the church should be the place to go for
Yeah.
marriages to be strengthened, So we want to invest in pastors so that they can invest in their communities. But then marriage on mission is a call really to those 200, and that's the number that we have. We want to inspire, equip, connect, and engage 200 marriages on mission
hmm
across our nation this year. And imagine 200 couples that say, hey, we want to have an impact in our corner of the world, whether it be a gospel impact to my neighbor who I see walking a dog of my other neighbor, because he's actually dealing with loneliness, and his wife is in a home for dementia, and I stop to take a moment and talk to him.
Yeah.
Whether that's the impact I'm making, or whether the impact is actually inviting other couples into a conversation to strengthen their marriage. We want to see couples grow together and impact their corner of the world. And that's what Marriage on Mission is all about.
So what a fantastic way to celebrate Marriage Week. And I appreciate, you often talk about the importance of investing in our marriages, and that's something you can do through Family Life Ministries. But to see Family Life investing in the concept of marriage at a nationwide level and saying, hey, let's strengthen marriage as a concept within our society and very practically within the lives of couples within that society, a wonderful thing to be involved with. Sounds like you've got a pretty busy September, though, Wynand. I mean, for you and the crew, it's pretty hectic, I imagine.
You have no idea, but look, it's a cause that I'm willing to suffer for in some ways, and but we pace ourselves, and we also remind ourselves we can't do everything.
Yeah.
So that's the invitation where we invite people to be in part of that, to help. Whether it be volunteers. We also just recognize that this is God's movement. This is not us.
Yeah.
And just recently, we had a chance meeting with Mike Turinsky from Alpha, and Alpha Marriage obviously is a great footprint in New Zealand. They've served so many couples and brought people into that gospel conversation. Focus on the family. We the three of us were in Christchurch, and we actually happened to meet together at the same time. Just God orchestrated that.
Yeah.
And we're all saying, hey, what can we do together that none of us can do apart? And so it's like, okay, let's really make a big effort around Marriage Week. So it's not just Family Life, and it's not just the three organizations I've just mentioned, and we'll over time just continue to grow that and shine the light.
I think Rhema's definitely on board for this, and I love that as a metaphor of marriage. What can we do together that we can't do individually? That's what Marriage on a Mission looks like. Also love the fact that, for some people, they think, oh gosh, there's a conference in Auckland, I can't do that, but geographically or because of work commitments, but actually that you're taking the show on the road, that Ron and Nancy in particular, there's various speaking engagements. And I know, hey, you've got a day together event happening in Whangarei this weekend. You've got another weekend to remember in Christchurch before the end of the year. Not just about Marriage Week. There's ways in which people can connect and build stronger marriages to do more together than they could separately wherever they're living in New Zealand, right?
Exactly. And that's the invitation. Let's make a big fuss about Marriage Week for everyone. And then throughout the year, let's lead the way in showing people that, hey, marriage matters.
Yeah.
And we want to invest in the things that matter to us, and invest not only from a place of our own happiness or our own comfort, but from a place of eternal impact. And that means we don't just focus on ourselves, but we lift up our gaze and we think, how are we being a force for good right where we planted, in our neighborhood, in our schools, in our workplace? And let's be a marriage on mission right where you are.
Yeah, no, super good stuff indeed. Now, we've mentioned a lot today, and people may be thinking, oh, what was that thing he said about when... Honestly, one thing to remember, and that is familylife.nz. All of the details of what you've talked about are there, but there's also a separate website for marriage.
The second thing to remember is Marriage on Mission.
Marriage on Mission.
So,
okay, two things which is appropriate for marriage, isn't it? Familylife.nz and marriageonmission.nz. Wynand, thank you for what you and the crew are doing. May God give you strength for the month ahead, but thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.